Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
A Western Kentucky family found dead in their home tonight. We're getting more details about the family and the suspected killer.
Better safe than sorry. More Central Kentucky health officials are preparing in case Ebola pops up here.
And a campaign ad leads to a lawsuit why a state Senate candidate is suing his opponent.
WKYT News at 5:30 starts now.
Good evening to you. Tonight we are learning more about the Western Kentucky family who was found shot dead in their home this weekend.
The shooting happened in Trigg County, and right now state police are calling the 4 deaths a murder-suicide. WKYT's Jordan Blinds is at the live desk with more on the victims and how they might have known their suspected killer. Jordan?
Sam, that's right. We're told that Lindsey Champion was a retired Farm Credit Services employee, while his wife, Joy, was a retired teacher of 30 years. An unlikely couple, according to friends, to be murdered along with their daughter.
I'm still grieving myself, quite frankly.
7 years ago, Randall Evans met Lindsey and Joy Champion at the Cadiz Church of Christ.
They were very not only active people in the church, but they were great Christian people.
And this past Sunday, he saw them once more, but little did he know it was the last time he'd see them alive.
Everybody asks the question, why? We'll probably never have the answer to that question, or even if we do, it won't satisfy what has happened here this day.
Lindsey Champion, his wife Joy, and their daughter Emily found murdered in their home, and investigators believe 22-year-old Vito Reservato of Hopkinsville is the man responsible for the killings. He too was found dead on the scene. At this time, the relationship between the suspect and victims remains unknown.
We think that he briefly met the family one day last week, so we don't know how well of a relationship this person had with the family or exactly what the relationship is.
Trooper Thomas also says there was another family member at the home who survived, but he wouldn't say if that relative was Champion's son, Ryan. Ryan Champion was spotted on the murder scene late Sunday night wearing what appeared to be hospital scrubs. Still a lot of questions there. Another potential detail in this case is that the murders happened not long after the couple left church that morning. At the live desk, Jordan Blinds, WKYT.
Authorities are set to be done, autopsies are set to be done on the victims tomorrow in Madisonville.
An argument between a father and son lands the son in the hospital. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Clay County. That's where police say the son, Herbert Davidson Jr., tried to attack his father, Herbert Davidson Sr., on Saturday night in Oneida along Kentucky 66. Police say the father got a gun and shot his son in the stomach. Davidson Jr. was taken to UK hospital in critical condition. Davidson Sr. was not charged, and the sheriff tells us initial evidence points to self-defense. Police believe alcohol was involved. In Whitley County, deputies caught 2 men in the middle of a burglary on Saturday. A tip led deputies to a home on Bethel Road. When officers got to the home, 28-year-old Wilkie Murray tried to run out of the back but was quickly caught and arrested. He was hiding inside the house. Officers found and arrested 31-year-old Anthony Morgan. Both men faced several charges. Murray was also charged in connection with a burglary that happened back in August.
More states are making sure that people who have had contact with Ebola victims are isolated. And here in Central Kentucky, health officials want to have a plan ready to go. WKYT's Rebecca Smith has more on how health care facilities are preparing in case the Ebola virus does show up here.
Baptist Health Richmond is equipped to isolate a suspected Ebola patient if need be. Today's meeting included representatives from that hospital and other area agencies going through the proper steps should a patient seek treatment who thinks they may have Ebola.
The isolation room is located right across the hall from the nurses station. This allows them to monitor the patient as needed, but at the same time limit access.
It's an exercise in protocol that pairs CDC recommendations with local EMS and hospital staff, who are most often the first line of defense in dealing with an infectious disease outbreak.
At Baptist Health Richmond, we work with, we have 6 sister hospitals across the state that we work with, who also work with the CDC and the Kentucky Department of Public Health.
Baptist Health gave us a look at the equipment they use if they happen to have a case of suspected Ebola, things like masks and full body suits. Williams says one of the most effective methods of preparedness is having a plan.
Hopefully, in the coming weeks and months, we will come back together and do a full-scale act-out drill in a similar fashion once everybody is comfortable with the process and procedures that are in place, and that we've had it's really a coordinated effort.
In Richmond, Rebecca Smith, WKYT.
And we checked this afternoon, and according to the State Department of Health, there have been no confirmed cases of Ebola in Kentucky. Murray State University in Kentucky is deferring applications from students in West African countries affected by Ebola until the fall of 2015. Provost and Vice President Jay Morgan says the school is still accepting applications, though, from Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, but students will not be admitted in January.
Well, back here at home, we are seeing temperatures up near 80 today, but those temperatures will be dropping fast by the end of this week.
That's right. By the end of the week, we could have temperatures lows in the 20s overnight. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell has us all freezing right now. Well, not really. It's still warm out there.
You get the feeling, though, already that chill will really settle in as we get toward the end of the week and into the weekend, especially. We look outside with our temperatures right now, and you're thinking, 20s? What? Caldwell, come on, buddy. You're crazy. No. We've got some big changes coming our way. 82, though, out of the airport in Lexington. We've got another temperature site that we use here in Lexington that's coming in at 79 degrees. So we're very, very warm here. You've got 81 in Richmond. How about 79 in Somerset? It is nice all over the place. Just the cloud cover coming into play. Defender gets a little more active once we get into the afternoon and evening tomorrow with a round of showers and maybe even some thunderstorms, all associated with that frontal boundary that we're tracking off to the northwest. You see some showers already igniting just to the south of it. That'll continue to be the case. As this gets a little closer, it's going to get in more moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to fire off better chances of showers and thunderstorms. The focus of the forecast, unfortunately, isn't the nice weather because there's so much change coming our way. It's going to be the focus of two big blasts of cold air. I had this mentioned earlier as cool air, but I said, no, this is some pretty cold stuff coming our way. First one midweek, another toward the end of the week, and that's where we could see those 20s. I'll break those chances down coming up for you here in a few minutes.
All right, see you then, Jim. Thank you. A candidate for state senate is suing his opponent, saying a campaign ad went too far. An attorney for Dr. Ralph Alvarado filed a defamation lawsuit in Clark Circuit Court this morning against his opponent, Senator R.J. Palmer, and political consultant Dale Emmons. He says the ad contains edited video of a courtroom exchange that was taken out of context to create the impression that Dr. Alvarado was running a pill mill and improperly billing Medicaid and Medicare.
To make these sort of accusations crosses a line. We understand that politics can get rough and tumble at times, but there is a line, and we believe that the Palmer campaign has crossed it.
Brian Thomas, an attorney for the Palmer campaign, emailed a statement saying the lawsuit doesn't have merit. He says the courtroom video demonstrates that Alvarado prescribed OxyContin to a man days after he was arrested for trying to buy $3,000 worth of painkillers from an undercover officer.
Tonight, we have a follow-up to a recent Good Question that involves a scam and your cell phone. Linda from Harrodsburg has our Good Question. Recently, you ran a story about the phone ringing with your own name and number. It has happened to be twice. Is there anything that can be done about it besides not answering the phone? We asked the Better Business Bureau of Central and Eastern Kentucky if anything else can be done, and Heather Clary says, quote, I wish there was. The BBB and the FTC all say don't answer. You cannot block the number calling if it's your own, and the con artists know this. And why they think anyone would be interested in their pitch after being tricked into answering is beyond me. Now, Clary also says that the BBB and the FTC both say not answering is about the only and best thing to do. If you answer or push buttons to be removed from the list, all it does is let the scammer know they have a legitimate phone line that gets answered, possibly sending more scam calls to your phone. It's annoying, but the best way to fight back is to not play the con artist game by not answering. If you do answer and you hear a robocall, hang up immediately. If you have a good question, submit it on WKYT.com.
These 6th District congressional candidates will face off one more time before next week's election.
Republican Congressman Andy Barr and opponent Elizabeth Jensen will go head-to-head again tonight. WKYT's Bill Bryant has more on the race in the bottom line.
Good evening. We are just over an hour away from the final debate of the 6th District Congressional Campaign. WKYT News will be bringing that to you live on the CW Lexington starting at 7 p.m. It'll be live from the EKU Center for the Arts in Richmond. Republican Congressman Andy Barr defending his seat for the first time against political newcomer Elizabeth Jensen, the Democrat. The two met last week for a debate on KET. Health care was a big part of the discussion. Jensen supports the Affordable Care Act, which she says through Kentucky Connect has brought coverage to more than 500,000 Kentuckians. Barr says it has been a job killer. He promises to work to repeal it and replace it with what he calls more workable solutions. Again, I'll be moderating. Questions will also come from panelists as well. It starts at 7 live on the CW Lexington, also available online at WKYT.com and Kentucky.com. We're heading into the last week of the U.S. Senate campaign. Republican Senator Mitch McConnell and Democratic challenger Allison Lundergan Grimes have agreed to separate interviews later this week for our Kentucky Newsmakers program. After a hard-fought race, several polls give an edge to McConnell, but both sides are working hard to get voters out a week from tomorrow. With control of the state house up for grabs, Republicans are pushing to pick up 4 seats to tie or 5 seats to win outright control of that chamber for the first time since the 1920s. A Washington-based group called the Republican State Leadership Committee is running tough attack ads on Democrats in 9 hotly contested state house races. And Kentucky Senator Rand Paul gracing the cover of Time magazine. The article entitled "The Most Interesting Man in Politics" talks about how Paul has moved from a Bowling Green eye doctor to likely presidential contender. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
How would you like to eat dinner and help fight diabetes at the same time? Well, tomorrow night you can. I am part of an event for the American Diabetes Association here in Lexington called Kiss a Pig. I'm raising money to help in the fight to find a cure for the disease. And if I raise the most, I do get to kiss a pig. So I'd like for you to join in the fun tomorrow night from 5 until 9 p.m. at the Saw Good in Hamburg. 20% of your bill will help me get one step closer to kissing a pig and finding a cure for diabetes. Simply go to WKYT.com, print off the flyer that we have there for you, bring it in, and eat some dinner with your family and help us out.